Scottie Scheffler winning another major outside of the Masters. I'm excited for him. I feel like this guy, I mean, I'm not the first one to say it, has a lot of potential in his golf career, but he's also now halfway into his Grand Slam. Rich, in your opinion, do you think Scottie Scheffler has a Grand Slam in him?
I mean, I think that was the most underestimated or under thing you could say. Scotty's got a lot of potential in him. Yeah, of course.
The number one golfer in the world.
He has so much potential. Do I think he's got a Grand Slam? I definitely do. He's playing absolutely great golf. He's been playing great golf for years now. And it's just, golf's a hard game. You got to have some luck. You got to have a lot of skill, and you got to just have those things line up on those big right days and those big tournaments. And yeah, he's going to get it. He'll definitely get a Grand Slam.
When you say somebody's got a lot of potential, usually that person sucks and you're just trying to be nice.
Yeah. It was a bit of a reach to say that about the far and away number one golfer in the world. Like, what is it, 141 weeks or something at this point of being number one golfer? A lot of potential. I think
what was Tiger Woods?
Grand totals, Tiger's
in a row.
He's got to be 200, or he's got to go all the way to 2035 to catch Tiger. Tiger was like 648 weeks.
Yeah, he had like two separate runs of like over 300 weeks consecutively. I mean, unbelievable.
With 144 cuts made. But also, Scottie, the thing about Scottie this week, which I loved, was he was just out there like throwing darts, making putts, and he was like slightly annoyed by having to wait for everybody to like look at a putt for more than 3 seconds, because he was so dialed that he was like, has he putted yet? No. Oh my God. Like, let's go. Yeah, the guy was in the zone.
The train left the station and he didn't want anyone slowing him down.
Dude, I can't do it with him in that screen.
Josh can't handle this.
What's crazy though, even with Scottie and how well he did, dude, he missed several very short and makeable putts. Like, I mean, had he been dialed and hitting those, like, I couldn't imagine what he would actually shot for the weekend.
Yeah, well, that's always what's wild about him, is you're like, wow, all these shots he left on the table, and he still wins by like a massive margin.
5 or 6 strokes, something like that?
Yeah, Green Mile who?
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. I forgot which hole it was. I was following him out there on the course, and it was a monstrous par 4. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. Pound's driver sails it down the hill. It might have been 14, might have been 15. I don't remember. And here we are. So I've got the earpiece radio in, I'm listening to the broadcast. So I see him pound this drive, but we can't really tell what it does when you're standing up by the tee box. And I hear on the radio, the ball's in the air, lands just short of the green. It's rolling up, it's rolling on. Scottie Scheffler hits it to 3 feet. You're just like, dude, like unbelievable. I know, right? Like, just classics. Good old Scott can't get in his way. I even thought, him bringing it all the way home. We had Jon Rahm, who really was starting to put some golf together. First of all, I was so happy to see Jon Rahm out there playing great golf.
Yes.
But one of the things I really thought a lot about is, we went through this period of time with Rory where it felt like he was carrying the weight of the PGA Tour on his back. And his wins were more than just Rory getting another win. It was about this battle between two tours. It was about, he became the spokesperson for the PGA Tour. He had this looming Grand Slam kind of hanging over his head for years and years and years. And the weight of the win, I think, really sort of slowed down his trajectory and almost prolonged some things that probably should have happened a lot sooner for the quality of golf Rory plays. I feel in a little bit like, in a way, that Jon Rahm is a little bit in that position right now. He goes to live, just after winning the Masters, he goes to live that same year. And then we kind of don't really see the same Jon Rahm for quite a long time again after that. And so now there's all this talk. It's like, do these guys fall off and lose that special thing they have when they go to live? They get the big paycheck. They lose their competitive spirit. It's like, well, Josh is telling me to wait.
No. I got it.
Okay. All right. Do they lose their competitive spirit? Well, Bryson won the U.S. Open last year, so that can't be 100% true. And we look at, even in the Masters, we had 2-3 live guys in the top 10, but we weren't seeing Jon Rahm really come back into this place in the spotlight and taking the big wins. But it's like, but he's so good. I mean, he's finishing, top 10 on live constantly. I mean, what did they say? How many weeks since he was outside of the top 10 on live? We're like, yeah, well, that's live, and there goes the arguments. But to see him come back and really start to try and run down Scottie, especially on Sunday, he put together some absolutely great golf. But at the end of the day, the green mile ate him up. Here's what I think. I think Jon Rahm is in a very similar position that Rory went through, where he has a lot of weight on top of his own personal aspirations and what he wants to do in golf. There's all the people that are saying Jon Rahm goes to live and he's no longer the golfer he used to be. Jon Rahm is, taking the bag and that's it. It's all gone. To me, I feel like Jon Rahm proved something very different this last weekend and really showed that there is an incredible golfer still in there. And I don't think by any means we are at the end of the Jon Rahm era. My personal opinion. Josh, what do you got?
So I was watching clips on TikTok yesterday, Sunday after the round, and everyone's saying it's no longer, or it should not be a discussion anymore that the live guys are falling off compared to the PGA guys.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, look at the numbers. Bryson DeChambeau tied second.
Yep.
Rahm tied 8, and Joaquin Niemann tied 8 as well. They're up there. They're competing.
Yeah.
It's the only differences between the guys is they have less tournaments a year and the tournaments are less amount of days. Like any pro golfer can go out and play 72 holes a day with quality. It shouldn't depend on how much they play or where they play when all these live guys are starting to really tie it down and make moves.
I agree. I mean, I do think, even like Tiger before his latest injury was just saying he's like, I just need to get out and play more tournaments. There's something about tournament golf. You'll also notice a lot of these guys try and play the weeks leading up to a major to make sure that they're in that tournament mindset, tournament mode. So the only thing I would wonder is there an effect that these guys have, from playing less tournament golf? Not that they've lost their competitive edge, but that they're not in the competitive environments enough or as often, and what effect that might have on their overall play.
And I really think, to kind of compound on what both you guys are saying, I don't know if you guys listen to Dan Rappaport at all. He had a great, he was talking about this same topic, and his take on it, I thought was huge and lines up exactly what we're talking about. I think when people go get the bag at live, it's an individual thing. I don't think you can just blanket say that, oh, you went to live and so now you're not playing good. It's going to be some people get that bag and now they can sit back and they don't care as much and they're not out there driving those extra balls and they're not doing the stuff like that. But some guys still have that competitive spirit. And if you look, the 3 guys that Josh just named, all 3 are in the top leaderboards of live.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yep.
it is definitely correlating back and forth. As far as you're leading in live, you are still can be leading in the PGA.
Well, and you also wonder too, obviously these guys are dealing in a financial realm that is a little difficult for some of us common folk to really understand and imagine. But at the same time, does that give them additional investment leeway? There is a lot of expense in bringing the best coaches in the world out with you. Well, now these guys can fund that. There is, a lot of these guys, the top players, they're bringing physical trainers, people out stretching them. There's so much that goes into the team in and around these guys. And, I would be willing to bet somebody who just came fresh off the Korn Ferry Tour has a brand new, sparkly, shiny, fresh new PGA Tour card. Are they flying around 7 people with them like potentially Rory is, Scottie is, So at the same time, they've got the bag. So now they have all of this room to invest in themselves. I don't know. Maybe there is actually an advantage there that's not being recognized. Possibly. I don't know. I think one of the most exciting parts of this tournament was the final round. It seemed like the tournament was a little bit off to a slow start. We had some crazy weather, huge delays. We know that had some effect on play. But by the 4th round, championship Sunday, that leaderboard was all over the place. Scottie Scheffler, of course, came in with a strong lead and had a very slow start to his day. Meanwhile, Jon Rahm comes out hot and starts putting some points up on the board. I mean, Rich, what did you think of all of that scoreboard chaos out there at Quail Hollow?
Well, and Bryson DeChambeau, he had the outright lead for a minute as well. Like, it was absolutely spectacular. And let's even talk about the first couple of days. You had huge names. JT didn't even make the cut, because it was absolutely crazy. But then that end, and here's one of the things I loved. I was able to watch almost all of Saturday and all of Sunday. And going into Sunday, so many of the media and so many people were just saying, "Oh, this is Scottie. Scottie's going to win this. There's no questions asked. Scottie's going to win for sure. He's walking in with 3 strokes, like he's got this in the bag." And then all of a sudden, bogeys the first hole, like you know, it's and then Rahm comes up, he ties him towards the end. Before that, Bryson actually goes and he takes the lead away from him, like. I mean, it was not Scottie's doing. Now, yes, Scottie ended up winning by 6 because, Bryson and Rahm really fell off. But I kind of feel it was just, I don't think that it was necessarily Scottie just played that much better. I think those other guys just were trying to win a few different strokes and trying to play some games. And they just didn't hit the best shots, missed a couple short. Bryson was terrible on the putting green. Like that last round, he missed. It seemed like every hole he was missing stuff that you can't miss in order to win a major.
I noticed that
I'm going to give Scottie the ultimate compliment right now.
Go ahead. Glaze him.
PGA win felt like Tigerist.
It felt Tigerist?
It was Tigerist because Sunday he's leading by whatever. It's like the dude's got it. And you're like, everybody's just playing for second.
Well, that is quite the high compliment. Compliment anybody who's playing Tiger.
You're welcome, Scottie Scheffler, because I know you care about what I'm thinking back here in Disney World.
Hey, Rich, the one thing I notice about Bryson's putting, and I've seen it like with his YouTube videos and tournaments, he's either making everything or he's not making anything.
I 100% agree. I also feel like Bryson's a lot that with his whole game. Sitting here, with my plus 400 handicap,
I'm with you.
No. Take the plus away.
But I was watching it, and I've been watching this for a lot of tournaments. It seems like Bryson is more comfortable clubbing down, gripping and ripping, rather than clubbing up and taking a nice finesse shot and trying to play something, And so on those tournaments, when that wind starts whipping, well, when he's gripping and ripping, that wind's taking the ball and it's not landing where he wants it to land. And then he starts getting in his head, and you can watch him. Bryson is a very emotional player, which is great. And it's also bad, right? Because when things are going good, and he wins by tons of strokes. But when things aren't going good, he just starts getting shaky, and he starts missing some of the basics.
Well,
and he also sorry, go ahead, Dan, if you want.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's so true because we saw, especially even on Sunday, where he just started hitting everything long. You know what I mean? He was just airmailing greens. Things were hitting the back, rolling off, bouncing back, ending up all around. And now he's just fighting this uphill battle, which for somebody, like he says, he feeds on the crowd. He feeds on the energy. But that also means that he's feeding on the negative, unfortunately. And you could tell it washes over his face like that, killer instinct starts to turn into frustration. And it's tough because you're like, man, he has it in him. I mean, as much as any of those top guys, this was Bryson's tournament. It really was. He had every chance on earth to once again stuff it in all these guys' faces and take home another gigantic trophy. And you're right. Because let's just say, I don't know, half of those almost putts went in. That's still a win. Just half.
Yep.
And they weren't. And that makes the difference. Gary, what do you got?
It was annoying to me because a lot of good golfers that you're just not having that day. You kind of just brush it off. And it's like, and I know this is a US or this is a PGA championship, but it's like, every time Bryson missed a putt, he'd be like pointing at something or like yelling about something. And it's like, dude, you just missed the putt. It's not the green's fault. It's nobody else's fault but you. So stop trying to make it like you're so good that like, and you are so good, but like he
Yeah.
was like, oh, this and this. It's like, no, you're rationalizing it to make it not your fault. So don't do that.
It could be worse. You could have said, I'm not doing media.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
Josh, it's so funny you were going to say that because I was literally going to say what he was doing is what I'm saying is he's that emotional player, right? And he lets his emotions, he lets them just fly, which is part, I think, of why people way back when didn't like him because he would let his emotions fly. But now people are getting to see that, hey, that he's just a real person. But just like you said, Josh, with all of that being said, with all of his emotions, with all of everything, there were two guys that waited behind to make sure to get him, to make sure to congratulate him. And it was Bryson that said, hey, man, I'm really proud of you. That was awesome. And who was the other guy? Mr. Keegan Bradley.
Mr. Mustache himself, even though it was missing.
That's right.
Well, here's the thing, what I'm curious about. And these guys have to be in a mental place to do what they do. And they have to have this deep belief in themselves that I am the best. And they have to step up over every ball that I am the best. I can do this and I can beat Scottie Scheffler. I can beat anybody. It doesn't matter who you throw at me. I put in the time, I put in the effort, I have the equipment, I have the training, I have the team, I have everything required to win. So the reason that didn't go in was the green's fault. I'm just curious, is that a mental defense to allow yourself to remain in a place where you don't start spiraling and going, I suck? You know what? I can't make putts today. It is me who is off. What am I doing? Why do I have this issue right now? I don't know. But is there a potential for the idea that those guys or Bryson himself use it to externalize the issue as opposed to internalize the issue? I don't know.
It's like an illusion. It's like a rationalization that is an illusion that is an illusion, but like you said, is tactically making them not blame themselves so they can continue down this very, very high standard of confidence that you need to beat guys like Scottie Scheffler.